your pipeline to the heart of the action.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
This week, it's really going to be crucial.
The Sports Blitz.
They're playing championship football.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is. It's 4 o'clock on a Friday. Halloween edition of the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 17s phone line, 850-215-6290. This is an exciting day. Happy Halloween, everybody. In the studio with me, we've got Tennessee Brandon. To my left,
yes, sir.
Tennessee Brandon looks like he is ready to throw some flags. So we should call you Referee Brandon.
Referee Brandon today, yeah.
For the day. And as always, that's right. And you know what's crazy is I wish Jeff was here so that if he starts saying something crazy, we could just throw the flag.
Jeff would have 15-yard penalties.
It would be a flag on Jeffrey for sure.
100%.
And as always on Friday, we got Chris Hobbzilla, Hobbs in the house, Bain Hobbzilla in the house. So good to see you here today, Chris. How you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Bainzilla.
Bainzilla is in the house. So excited to have you here, man. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're going to be pumped up. So I guess maybe some of you don't know what I'm dressed up as. So we might as well go ahead and get it switched over and look at it. What this is Lane Kiffin, coach. We don't know where he's going. Is he staying at Ole Miss? Is he going to LSU? Or is he going to Florida? So I'm Lane today, but I have no idea where we're going. So there you go, guys. Either way, we're pumped up on this Halloween edition of the Sports Blitz. Brandon, what do you have on the docket for tonight?
So after radio, taking the girlfriend and the kids, we're just going trick-or-treating in the neighborhood, going to carve a pumpkin. I'm dressed as a painting. My girlfriend will be Bob Ross.
Okay.
So yeah, kids got their costumes. We got all the dog costumes, a hot dog, a dog nana, a bumblebee. So we'll have our hands full. We'll be getting plenty of candy, plenty of pets, and be walking around the neighborhood after this.
That's right. So Chris, Bain, Hobbzilla, what are you guys doing tonight for yours?
Well, tonight we're going over to Pier Park, and we're going to be hanging out with my friend Tim O'Connor, owner of a mobile strength company, and he trains my son and stuff like that. So we're just going to do some trick-or-treating.
That's awesome. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and release you because I don't want you to pass out in here because I don't know CPR. Brandon probably does. But either way, I know that could be tough. But either way, we got it. So it's awesome. Yeah. And we don't want to forget the Bone Crusher. So Bone Crusher, obviously you didn't dress up, or did you? And what are you doing tonight?
I'm going as a grown-ass man.
So that's what you're going to ask for. Can I have some candy?
Hey, I'm going to enjoy y'all's enthusiasm. I don't do costumes, but I'm enjoying the atmosphere, man. Y'all look great.
Now, Bone Crusher, in the Fanning Bayou neighborhood, we do have adult trick-or-treating and we have kid trick-or-treating. There will be a table set up for, adult beverages and then Snickers and Reese's on one side. So come out to the Fanning Bayou. We treat the adults just as well as we treat the children.
You got any blood pressure medicine in there?
I'm sure there'd be some Advil, some blood thinners.
Some Geritol.
There you go. Some Icy Hot. There'll be all kinds of stuff out there.
That's pretty exciting. So, but either way, I think one of the funniest costumes that I saw that was being done was a adult older man softball outfit, and it was the jersey was dipped in icy hot.
Oh, really? That's funny.
So I think that would be a pretty good one. I think we're going to go out and take the kids out. We have a baseball tournament tomorrow, so we can't stay out too late.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know if everybody recognizes this or not, but it's cold outside, and it's going to be cold once the sun goes down. It's supposed to be around the 54, 55 degrees. So if you got those costumes that are heavy, you'll be just fine. But the ones that are trying to have the ones that don't cover as much, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, everybody's saying, aren't you from Tennessee? Man, listen, I've lived here 7-8 years. I've got my Florida feathers in. I'm officially cold. I'm wearing jackets and pants now. So, yeah, it's getting cold.
That's exactly right. Now, what you got here? I didn't get to show that a little bit.
This is my pumpkin that I decorated. I thought you'd love that. So I brought it into the studio so I could share it with everybody.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. That orange looks so good. I mean, that's great. I'm sure Chris loves it too.
I'm sure both of you love it.
Yeah, we both do. We both do. But either way, we cannot go any further on this day because everybody knows what today is. Yes, it's Halloween, but it is Coach Nicholas Saban's birthday. Happy birthday, Coach Saban, University of Alabama legend, 74 years old. So, just wanted to make sure I got excited about that. You guys aren't so excited. You guys are excited he's not in the SEC anymore.
Happy birthday, Coach Saban. Please stay retired.
Yeah, for real. But anyway, just wanted to do that because he's going to be so. Either way, I know like one of our sponsors, Lone Star Bowl House, they're having an adult Halloween party tonight. So I also just wanted to say that because those guys have been so generous here with us. And we had gumbo yesterday, guys. He brought in some gumbo.
Oh, wow.
And it was phenomenal. So on a night like this where it's cold, maybe you don't have kids, maybe you do have kids, maybe the kids go to bed or whatever, you can go over to the Lone Star Bowl House as well. So, and we know Jeff's not here, but Jeff will be calling in today, so we're not going to miss him. We want to make sure that we, leave some time for Jeffrey. Obviously, he's out doing some stuff, so I just wanted to touch base on that. Now, later on in the show, we do have Coach Tommy Joe Whidden coming on, and so it's going to be an awesome day. There's a lot of things that happen, and we've got to talk about the breaking news that happened last night after the show, and that is LSU fired their athletic director last night. So how does that make you feel? I'll go with you first, Chris. Obviously, Florida is in similar situation with LSU, got rid of their coach, but theirs is a little bit different. So getting rid of the athletic director last night, and you knew it was coming by the way the governor had talked about the athletic director specifically. So how does that make you feel knowing that your team's not in that situation because Jeffrey's team is in trouble right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like LSU to start with, so it also helps with the picture of Lane Kiffin coming to Florida. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks for Jeff and LSU fans, but, I mean, I'm kind of happy about it.
Well, it kind of cleared the way, Brandon, when you look at how they did it, how the governor stepped in. Oof. You haven't been here to talk about it. Yeah. That's brutal. There was just... Let's give the backstory because a lot of people may not know. A lot of people do. Then, just humor us for a moment. But this guy is the same guy that negotiated Jimbo Fisher's deal at Texas A&M with the huge buyout. And then he also now did this huge buyout with Brian Kelly. And so basically what the governor was saying is this guy can't do it anymore because of those two monstrous buyouts, which is in, $74 million and then $54 million. So
Yeah, just talking from experience, I mean, Tennessee, we got a new athletic director in 2021. So, I mean, about four or 5 years ago, it was after the disastrous Jeremy Pruitt coaching fiasco. We hired Danny White. Danny White, is one of the, reasons that we got Heupel in there. And so he's kind of turned that program around. So a good AD can help and find a coach and can turn that program around. However, It just seems like total incompetency, the way that the governor is handling this whole situation. I didn't really think that a government entity would be directly involved with a coaching hire. Now, I didn't hear his interview. He doesn't necessarily want to be quote unquote directly involved. They're going to hire a committee. Who's on this committee? Do they even know football, or are they just a hiring committee? It says a lot that they're not leaving it within the university's hands to be able to hire their quote unquote their own coach. It doesn't look good. And I recently found out that, this buyout, if they can't get anybody to fork over this $50-something million, it is a state contract.
Wow.
And it is owed by the state. So, who pays state funds? That'd be taxpayers.
Yeah.
So whether you're a football fan or even an LSU fan, if you live in the state of Louisiana and nobody steps up to help this buyout, your tax dollars will be going to this $50-something million buyout. So it's a terrible situation. I would hate it if I was an LSU fan, immensely.
So the guy that's taken over, which is Frank Wilson, he's there. He is, my brother played at Southern Mississippi, and he was the running backs coach at Southern Miss. And my brother raves about how great of a guy he is and how, genuine and awesome he is. So the interim part of it, it's good, but this whole thing is really blown up. And like I said, whenever we were talking with Jeff about it, he was very aggravated just because of the governor and how that all steps in. But on the flip side of it, and I'm not taking sides here on this issue because it's you definitely as a taxpayer, you wouldn't want to have to pay for something like this. But I get where the governor stepped in and saying, okay, this has happened with Texas A&M. Now it's happening with us. I'm going to guard that for future, meaning I'm not going to allow this guy to, we got to step in and get rid of this guy because he seems to be setting up these contracts to have big time buyouts at the end instead of doing something. And, it kind of makes you wonder, how much is it going to, how many times is this going to happen? How much is it going to be when they stop inloading these contracts with these buyouts? It makes you wonder what they're going to do. Now, Lane Kiffin said something the other day talking about smaller contracts, and you broke that news with us whenever we first read about it. And do you think that going in the future, Chris, that's going to be the way forward for these contracts?
Yeah, I really do feel like you're going to have shorter contracts. Lane said it's more, like the NFL than it ever has been. So, in the NFL, they don't have super long contracts for the coaches and everything. I mean, probably Nick Saban, that's last of a dying breed right there,
Yeah, and that's really where we are. You would have to think that things were going to change whenever you have the NIL, because these guys now, really when you look at coaches in the times past, it's always just been a coach that knew how to do X's and O's and then got his staff together to be able to go and recruit, or vice versa. Had a really good staff that knew the X's and O's, but he would go be the recruiting face. He would be able to go sit across the table and win these star athletes to come to their program. And so, but now it's totally different. Not only do you have to be able to recruit, not only do you have to be able to coach, not only do you have to be able to hire good coordinators, now you've got to organize this whole organization with pay, with how much people are getting paid. It's like a free agency market. You're not just recruiting high school kids where you go sit in front of the mom and dad or the mom or just the kid or whoever, and you talk to them and win them to now we're talking, we want you to come here, you're going to get all this for free that you always did. But now the second question is, Coach, how much you going to pay me? Mm-hmm. And so now with that going forward, these coaches are now turning into, like what you said, is NFL coaches. And when you've got these guys that have been, college coaches their whole time, or basically a lot of times these guys are from the high school ranks. They've come up, and then like you said, you've got these Nick Sabans and the older guys that now it's changing. The game is changing, and Saban got out. I don't think it was age related. I think he didn't want to deal with all this. And so when you look at it, do you believe that it's going to go to a more of an NFL scale with the way they handle their coaches?
I think it has to. I don't know if any of y'all have heard about this, but I mean, I think we're up to about $170 million in total buyouts, and those are just for the head coaches. Wow. Now, if you think about it, they're not keeping all of their assistant coaches and offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. Think about their buyouts; they go with them. So we're at $170 million with just head coaches. So you're talking about before the end of the year, we're going to be talking about $250 million and paying people not to coach football this year. And that seems, it's just astronomically, it's crazy. So with what y'all have been saying, something has to change. We can't just keep throwing money. I mean, good for these guys. I mean, they're getting paid X amount, $50 million excess to sit on the couch at home. Good for them.
Right.
I should have been a college football coach.
Yeah.
So I think something has to structurally change. I mean, just to think about even just the taxpayers having to pay LSU's buyout. I mean, think about the roads. Think about the educational system, the homeless. So think about the people they can pay. I mean, as a taxpayer, you have to be just frustrated. I mean, just for the failure that the university had gone through. And just, it just didn't work out. So I do think something definitely has to change on that.
Well, when you look too, you got like Matt Rule, for example. He signed the contract extension yesterday to stay with Nebraska, and everybody's talking about the extension. And now they're going to be lined up for a buyout if something happens. Because let me read you a little deal here on Matt Rule.
Okay.
So everybody yesterday took him out of the Penn State job, right? Because that's where he was an alumni from. Everybody said, okay, Matt Rule is going to take that job. Okay, September 29, 2019, Matt Rule signs a 6-year contract with the Baylor Bears. 6 years. January 7th, which is 4 months later, 3 months later, 4 months later, January 7th, 2020. So September 29th, 2019, January 7th, 2020, Matt Rule signs a 7-year contract with the Carolina Panthers. So my question is Matt Rule really out because he signed this contract? Or will the Penn State be able to still get him because he signed a contract with Baylor in September, but in January he signed with the Carolina Panthers to be their coach? Don't forget, and I love Coach Saban. Coach Saban said from the platform at the Miami Dolphins, I'm not going anywhere. And about 2 weeks later, he was flying in on an airplane to Tuscaloosa, signing on as their head football coach. Things change so quickly. And Matt Rule, I don't know. I know we counted him out, but now could Matt Rule be going to Penn State after this season?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a possibility. I was going to say, up front that, may have jumped ship to the Carolina Panthers because potentially might be harder for a college coach to jump from college to the NFL rather than maybe jump from a college to another college. So maybe he thought that might have been his window of opportunity. Yeah, 32 NFL teams, you got hundreds of college football teams, so maybe that was it. But, with your second example with, Saban going from an NFL team back to, Alabama, from, LSU to Alabama. I mean, money talks, and I don't think anybody in this state is that loyal. Players, coaches, this NIL just seems to be everybody's like a mercenary, and they're going to go where you pay them. And, if you find somebody who's hardworking and loyal, you got to keep them. And I think Nebraska is potentially hoping with the extension that they've done enough to keep Matt Rule there, just like Tennessee hopes they did enough this year, signing that extension till 2030 with Heupel. I think they try to get ahead of the curve, but I don't think it's a definite or a promise.
Yeah, and when you look at it, Chris, that's what everybody is juggling right now with all the jobs open, with everybody available. Who's going to tell the truth and say, yes, I'm committed to a university, because they don't no longer make the kids be, really tight with the university anymore. It's show me the money. Are the coaches saying show me the money too because of the way they have to do the organization now, whereas it's not just about X's and O's, or it's just not about recruiting. Now it's about the whole thing. What do you think?
Yeah, it seems like they've kind of flipped the script a little bit. They're like, oh, the kids are making all the money, so we can just kind of, it's almost their chance at a NIL type deal, so they're getting some of that money that's trickling down and everything like that. And there's so many big name coaches that are just, willing to go. They're about the money, I mean, and I can't blame them, honestly.
Look at who we make fun of the most. Coach O, Jimbo Fisher, those coaches like them. We've made fun of Billy Napier. Yeah. 21 million. Yeah. 30 million for Coach O. Coach O said the funny story is, what did you say whenever they told you, we're done with you here at LSU? He said, which door you want me to go out? Yeah. I'm just saying,
when they had you that much, Jimbo's was largely
74 million.
76.8.
Oh, was it 76?
The largest buyout ever. So, write me that check and show me the door, please.
That's really how it's set up. So either way, we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to Mosley football's high school football coach, Tommy Joe Whitten. You're listening to the Sports Blitz, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Your home for the NFL. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Sunday, it's an NFL doubleheader.
Down the sideline.
Your 4-3 Jacksonville Jaguars land in Las Vegas and look for a winning hand versus the Raiders. Coverage starts at 2. Then Sunday night football with Seattle at Washington. Coverage at 6:30 right here on your home for the NFL on the Gulf Coast.
Pick 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Friday afternoon. The remainder of the day, sunshine and 67 with a light breeze at 7 miles per hour coming out of the west-northwest. For tonight, clear skies with a light breeze and a low near 52. Tomorrow, wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 70. For Sunday, some sun and a high of 69. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
We're proud to bring you the most popular cars in the world, like the stylish Camry and the sporty Corolla. Get award-winning style and 1.99% APR on a new Camry, named the best new model by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, you get 90 days until you make your first payment. Curb appeal comes standard on the new Corolla. Designed to wow from the inside out. Get 3.49% APR plus 90 days until your first payment. Panama City Toyota, your Camry and Corolla headquarters.
Offers end November 3rd. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Falls loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 with 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football. The Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. And now the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host, Paul Wilson.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, farm to radio. The Sports Blitz.
We're starting fresh.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are now joined with the Mosley High School Football Dolphins coach, Tommy Joe Whitten. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So, Coach, you know what day it is. You've probably been helping put costumes on, and you've probably given out candy or eaten some candy today at school. So, what are you going to be, Coach? What's your costume?
Oh,
come on!
I'm not no costumes.
What?
No costumes for me.
Oh.
But my three boys, we're going as the Sandlot. We got Benny, Squint, and I can't remember who the third one is. We got one more, Callie. But we're going as the Sandlot.
That's pretty cool. You could have dressed up like the dog and carried the baseball around in your mouth or something.
Yeah.
So, Coach, let's get into it. So, last night, 26-17 over the Florida State University High School. Pretty tough game last night, wasn't it, Coach?
Yeah, no, it was a tough game. Florida High is obviously a really good football team. To me, they're a lot better than what their record was, just based off they played a really tough schedule this year, and their coaching staff does a really great job. And I thought the boys played really hard. Obviously, Florida High made us compete all 4 quarters. And, anytime you can get a big win going into the playoffs versus a quality opponent, so obviously a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, so give us the pretty much the stars of the game last night. Give us some names of some of these kids that played really hard and pushed you guys to victory.
Well, I thought JP just continued to play really well. Threw for over 200 yards, had 3 touchdowns. Took a big hit there in the second half on their sideline, and shook it off and kept playing, and made some really good decisions for us. So I was, really proud of our defense in the second half. They pitched a shutout there in the second half and made some adjustments at halftime. And like I said, guys played really hard. And like I said, Florida had some really good wide receivers. Quarterback was a really good player, and just thought we did a good job of keeping them in front of us and getting some key stops. There in the second half, I want to say Cole Archambault had 2 sacks. Will Arboleta had a sack. Just guys on the back end making plays.
Yeah, that's going to be crucial going forward. You know how it is. I mean, the offense sometimes can spurt, but you need that defense to put them behind the sticks. So obviously there's a lot of confusion or not understanding. I'm not, real savvy in understanding what the next step is. So when is the night, or what day does everybody know who they're playing coming up?
Yeah, so this coming week's going to be a bye week. Everybody's going to be off. There's actually going to be some makeup games this coming Tuesday for games that might have been, pushed back because of weather or whatever may be the case. But we'll officially know our opponent next Thursday about 11 o'clock to noon. They're having a bracket release show that the FHSA does on YouTube, and that's when we'll find out. So, kind of until then, everybody's kind of sitting around waiting, still going to continue to practice. It's kind of a weird deal. You're just practicing to, focus on yourself and stay sharp. But, we really won't know who our opponent is until next Thursday.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I know that we've talked about it before and talking about, hopefully to make changes and all that kind of stuff. Well, with the way your record is with being 9-1, are you guaranteed a definite first round home game and second game, or is it just the first round?
Yeah, just they seed it out. They seed out the 8 teams in our region, 1 through 8, and we'll for sure have a home playoff game. Our home playoff game will be that following Thursday, and so 2 weeks from now. And then if we win, it would just kind of depend on what happened on the other side of the bracket. If there were to be an upset, we'd get another home playoff game. If the higher seed were to win, then we'd be on the road for the second round.
Okay, and so it could be crazy because there's already, I've seen some like mock brackets and stuff like that. And one of the brackets that I saw was a possibility of you guys playing Niceville again. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I definitely think it's within the realm of possibilities. Niceville, we're the 6 right now. Niceville's slated at the 6. But last night, we played, several other teams played. The 4 seed, which is Beachside, they played last night. They lost. Mm-hmm. So, there's still going to be some jockeying, some moving around. So, it's kind of hard to kind of predict or, what's going to happen, especially when you don't know the formula. But nonetheless, I think it's within the realm of possibilities. And like I said, we'll find out next Thursday.
Okay. And so how many games are we looking at, like, to go all the way to the state championship? So obviously, just tell us that. How many games are you looking at? I mean, is we 4 or is it 5 or 3?
There's 32 teams that make the playoffs in our classification. So to win it all, you got to win 5 games in a row. So there's 5 rounds in total, and so it's definitely definitely a tough challenge, and definitely have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, and then where do they play the championship game? Because isn't it is it in Tampa?
No, it's at FIU. So
okay.
It's down in Miami, and I would say last year was the first year that it's been there, and then it's going to be again there this year as well.
Okay, well, that sounds good. We talked about last week about what it meant for your seniors. So last night was probably outside of the next couple of games, and hopefully you guys will get at least 2 games. I'd love to see 2 playoff games here before you guys keep going, because we're pulling for you. Was it emotional after the game for some of your seniors to in the regular season being the last time that they played in a home game, for Mosley?
No, it wasn't overly emotional. I mean, guys were definitely, were excited and fired up just to finish the regular season on a high note. Last year we were undefeated and lost our last game of the year to Florida High. So, it's definitely a game that had been circled on our calendar for a while. So guys were just fired up that we, were able to finish the job and finish off the year right. And like I said, these seniors for sure get another home game, and they're going to be excited about that. And like you said, hopefully we can keep winning, and hopefully be able to get some more home games after that. But no, we just got a great group, 17 seniors. They've been a part of 3 district championships in a row and really set the standard and continue to build upon the foundation of what Mosley football is. And just really, really proud of this group because, again, after losing to Bay High early in the year, I think there's a lot of doubts about our season and the type of year that we could have. These seniors showed great leadership, and leading this football team to get them back on track and to ultimately to a 9-1 record on the year.
Yeah, and you guys really did do a really good job. And like I said, I was able to go out and watch several of your games, and just the way they played and the excitement that the fans bring into. And that's one of the other things that I wanted to ask you that I didn't get a chance to ask you the last time. A lot of high schools don't travel very well. I've watched a bunch of games over at Tommy Oliver, but the one thing I do notice is that Mosley, you guys travel very well. How important is it for your fan base to be at those away games and even at those home games when they're out there screaming and hollering and cheering on those boys?
No, it definitely means the world to me. I think it definitely means the world to our players as well. I mean, I just think it speaks to the importance that football has at Mosley and to our fans and to our community. And we definitely appreciate the support. Definitely when I take notice, I mean, last night we played Florida High, and it felt like they brought about 15 to 20 fans, from Tallahassee. And I know when we've made the trips to Tallahassee or made the trip to Pensacola, we definitely bring a strong contingent of fans. And again, I know I'm definitely appreciative of that, and our kids are as well. And like I said, just speaks to the importance of football at Mosley High School.
And your AD is a really awesome guy too, Doug Lee. He's fantastic. I know him personally as well, and just wanted to, he's wonderful, isn't he, Coach? I'll let you expound on that.
Yeah, no, Coach Lee. Again, it's just whenever you have a boss that's a competitor and has high expectations, expects to win at a high level, and definitely provides you with all the resources to be successful. It makes coming to work every day exciting and enjoyable, and And again, just appreciative that Coach Lee's my boss, and just appreciative of all the support that he does for our program and helping us be successful.
So we always do this, at the last part of the interview, we always talk a little bit of college, and, we've got all this stuff going on. And in studio, I don't know if you've even looked on Facebook today or not, or during this time, but Brandon's dressed up as a referee. It's the Tennessee Athletic Association, so, we're good with that. He's got the flag just in case. Jeffrey's out of town, so he's not here, but if Jeff was going to say something wrong, we were going to throw the flag at him. And then I'm wearing the Coach Kiffin with a question mark on my shirt because I don't know where he's going. Do you have any information that you would like to share of do you still believe that Lane Kiffin's going to Florida?
I mean, I would be shocked. I would think with LSU be open, if you had the pick of the two, I mean, I would think that LSU would, have the slight nod just because it's, the only P4 school in state and so many, advantages I feel like that it has from that standpoint and a recruiting standpoint. But, honestly, at this point, I think with what he's got going at Ole Miss and what he has a chance to build there, I could be really shocked, if he were to leave Ole Miss.
Yeah. Now, let me do something here. I wanted to share some news. You probably heard about it because I'm pretty sure you're probably still close to some of your former colleagues. But the NCAA is allowing former Tennessee football coach Jeremy Pruitt to join the Jacksonville State staff as an analyst, according to Bama 247. Because of his NCAA violations that occurred at Tennessee, Pruitt won't be allowed to have much to do with recruiting. Have you got any inside information about that? Did you know about Jeremy Pruitt coming back into college?
I've been keeping up with it on X and where he was appealing that, and then I did ultimately see where he got approved to be able to do that. And so, as long as there's not any McDonald's bags around, I think everything should be good to go.
That's right. Yeah, he does not need to be sponsored by the McDonald's there at Jacksonville State.
We couldn't even cheat right. Like we couldn't McDonald's bags. Like there's so many other ways to do what you were doing, man. And like the year that we cheated, we went 3-7. We didn't even cheat good. Like it was terrible, man. He can keep his 16-19 Tennessee record. Go somewhere else, please and thank you.
Coach, I did that for you, but mainly I did it for Brandon because I figured he was going to be pretty happy about that.
You knew it.
So as far as this weekend, what do you think the best game of the weekend is going to be? Do you think that Tennessee Vandy game is going to be a good one? And what about the Florida Georgia game?
Yeah, I think Florida Georgia. Obviously Florida's got a lot of turmoil going on. I'll be shocked if they'll be able to keep it close. I think the sneaky good game is not even an SEC game. I think it's going to be that Cincinnati-Utah game. I think that one's going to be really good because it's going to have a big impact on how the Big 12 is ultimately going to shake out. And I think that's one I'm looking forward to. I know that Cincinnati quarterback's really athletic, can run around, and Utah's defense is, I think, one of the top defenses in the country. So I think that one's definitely going to be an interesting one that's going to have big implications on ultimately how the playoffs are going to shake out down the road.
Yeah, we've been discussing it, and it's really just going to, going based off of last year, there's a good possibility that the Big Ten is only going to have 3 teams in it when you got Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. And so there's that extra team, and which I'm in the camp of the SEC. I think the SEC will probably have another team in this year. Yeah. But you're exactly right. A team like Cincinnati, a team like Utah could sneak right in, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. But the last question of the day, I know you got to go and you do all that. So with it being Halloween, Coach, what's your favorite candy?
Oh, Snickers, the OG.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. All right.
Snickers is my favorite Halloween candy.
That's right. And so, that's mine too. I mean, I get Snickers even when it's not Halloween. You know what I mean? So we keep those in the house stocked up. You know what I mean? If I take a lunch or if I, at night, if I'm wanting something, so that's mine too. So, but either way, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time out on this Halloween night to come on and be a part of us. We'll be over there watching, ready to go on Thursday after next week, and maybe next week you can come on and let us know who you got, who you're going to be playing, and maybe give us a little update.
Sounds good.
All right, tell the wife and the kids that we said hello, and y'all be safe out there today.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So that's just, that's how it works whenever you play Florida high school football. You don't really know at the end what's going to happen. So either way, we're going to be hoping and waiting for Mosley to get those home games. So either way, when we come back, we're going to dive into this Tennessee game that we got going on this weekend. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 7T Studio Line.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
Everybody's going where they can go to make their money. I'll just tell you this way. I know we're big on Keelan Russell at Alabama, but you let Ty Simpson go down, and Alabama's not the same team. You let Gunnar Stockton go down, Georgia's not the same team. Carson Beck goes down, Miami might not even make the playoffs.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Falls loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join us for the Florida-Georgia game on Saturday, November 1st.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 with 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football.
Coverage starts Saturday at 2. Kickoff at 2:30. On your spot for the Florida Gators on the Gulf Coast. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida airs the biggest games of the week from the SEC, ACC, and beyond. If it matters in college football, it's on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Sports Blitz.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. I've got Tennessee Brandon here, Chris Hobzilla in the building, Bone Crusher crushing the ones and the twos. You know, we've got to talk about it. We've got the Tennessee Volunteers playing the Oklahoma Sooners with playoff indications for both teams. We've got to look at it today. Brandon, when you look at this game, this is another one of those games on the schedule you knew that was coming, and you wondered whether or not this was going to be a mature coming out party or whatever it is, because, you know, he was very effective early on, but then after he got injured, he's not been as effective.
No, he's not.
And so now he's coming into his third game, and so what do you think?
So this isn't a playoff game. It's not a play-in game, but this could be a play-out game.
Yeah,
so
good point.
It's, you know, if either one of us wins it, it's not a for sure that we make it even further, but it is almost a for sure for either one of us. I believe there's a couple scenarios where Oklahoma could lose this game and still, you know, carry on and have a chance, but nonetheless, you have to ask for help. So technically a play-out game. And speaking of the Mateer thing, I got the stats pulled up. I mean, before his surgery, throwing for, you know, close to 67.5%, 303 yards a game. You know, he was rushing for almost 48 yards a game. You know, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you're a quarterback and you only needed 3 yards for a first down and you got, 5 or 6 of them, you extend your drives. You extend those offensive drives, and that's super, super good. He also had 6 passing touchdowns in those 4 games. Now, after the surgery, we dropped almost a whole 10%. We're at 57% completion. Yeah. We're throwing for under 200 yards now, 191. He's only rushing for about 12 yards a game and only 2 passing touchdowns since then. So to your point, he has not been the same Mateer since the hand surgery. So as a Tennessee fan, makes me feel a lot better about that, considering about 6 weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago, he was a Heisman front runner. Oklahoma was ranked, I think top 12, top 10.
Yes.
And so now it's getting to be a little bit different as this time approaches.
These two quarterbacks are the same quarterback. They're the same to me. They both don't want them to lead them in rushing, but they're going to have their 40, 50 yards. Yeah. They're throwing the football about the same. Both of them are effective outside the pocket. So really, to me, this is Aguilera versus Mateer. This is what this game should be billed as. It should be. That's what we're looking at. Obviously, there's things that Tennessee needs to do. There's obviously things that Oklahoma has to do. But being effective with their quarterback running the football and getting outside of the tackles and making things happen is really where you want to see.
Yeah, they're very similar. As in, I believe Mateer come from Washington State.
Yeah.
And Joey come from Appalachia State. So it's just like you got 2 transfer quarterbacks. Didn't necessarily work out where they're at before. They both seem to be panning out for their current school now. So yeah, it's a little bit of a quarterback battle. I mean, you have Tennessee's prolific offense versus kind of a pretty stout Oklahoma front. They, like us, they're a little hurt on the back end, so I think we can exploit some big plays. But then they're struggling on offense, which is where we struggle on defense. So I think it's going to be a good game. I believe we may pull away kind of at the end as the game progresses. We are going to have a hellacious atmosphere. It is going to be a Halloween themed night. We're doing the quote unquote dark mode. We're wearing our blackout uniforms. Everybody's basically a blackout. Everybody's wearing black. It's going to be a pretty awesome game, pretty awesome atmosphere.
Well, I'll tell you this: playing in Tennessee with all that orange and seeing the black, I'm sure they're going to have the orange lighting over the black. It'll probably be like that. It's probably going to look really cool if you like the color orange like both of y'all do, but I don't. But when you look at this team, both of the teams have to be able to run the football with their running backs. And that's the big key for this game. And that where the SEC, no matter what we've changed offensive into with all the razzle-dazzle, the RPOs and all of that, being able to run between the tackles has got to be something that happens with both of these teams. Now, Brent Venables being the offensive or defensive coordinator from Clemson, coming over at Oklahoma, and having, Mateer starting to try to push their offense, you're hoping to be able to establish the run early and then, like you said, blow it up. But when you look at it, is it more effective for it to be a high-scoring game for you guys? Or do you think, having a defensive game, which is where probably Venables wants it to be, that's going to be what he's trying to do, is keep it low scoring?
No, I believe we've got to score anywhere from 32 to 45 points. We've got to score in the 30 or 40s. I just unless our defense does something that we really haven't done all year, which is, hold our opponent to under 20 points. I don't think we have had a game where our opponent has scored under 20. So we have to score at least, 20. So you're thinking at least 30 to be on the safe side.
Has McCoy made it back?
No, he actually this week, quote unquote, he has had pads on and in practice. Have had no indication that he is playing this week. I'm thinking they're probably getting him ready. I'm sure he'd like to get ready. And if he thinks he can perform well, potentially if we have, a playoff berth or a chance, or we live in a world where if we win out and, potentially Vandy wins 3 of their next 4, you've got a 2-loss Vandy team and a 2-loss Tennessee team, potentially both top 14 playoff teams playing for that playoff berth at the end of the year, and players want to play in those kinds of games, so he may be trying to prepare himself for something like that.
Now, Lane Kiffin, he told Hugh Freeze at Auburn that you might want to change your signals when you play Oklahoma. You read about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to comment the whole time that they're sign stealers, so, signal stealers is better off. I really don't think Tennessee's going to have much of a problem with them other than that kind of thing, so.
Are you saying that Dabo Sweeney, Brent Venables are sign stealers? You think that's where he got it from?
Well, Lane he's implied that Oklahoma, and then when you go back and watch the film and stuff, there's plays that, like the linebacker, he'll, be standing there, he'll kind of give a little Michael Myers stare and dart over and tackle the guy like he knew the play was coming, so.
What do you think about that, Brandon? Because, okay, so we'll dive into it just a little bit. We haven't talked about this in a long time with the whole thing that happened with Michigan. And, we look at the sidelines now. You've got 4 different people giving signs. Yeah. You've got sometimes they bring up the sheet that covers the people. Everybody knows. It's just like baseball. You're trying to steal a sign. You're trying to get any kind of advantage that you can. Obviously, Michigan doing the video stuff, obviously that's wrong. But what do you think about that? Do you think it's a hoax or do you think it's legitimate?
There's levels to it, in my opinion. I think sign stealing is a small part of the game. In middle school, I'm on second base. I'm looking at the catcher throw a 2 down. Is a curveball coming? If so, my hand's reaching back next time. Hey, boy, you got a curveball coming next time. I want my boy to hit a home run. I want him to get a hit. I'm trying to help out where I can. Now, there's differences in catching tendencies and things like that in a game. You're like, all right, I've seen him call that 3 times. It's been this every single time. Common sense, you're going to have to learn. So when you start catching stuff in the game, now it's a little different level when you start buying tickets for people and going to sit in the stands with video recorders and you're studying film, and it gets to be a little, sus at that point. I think you're trying a little too hard. But I do think a dynamic of sign stealing is a part of all sports, to be quite honest with you. And I don't think signs should stay the same all the time anyway. I think that's pretty, not very smart, to say it nicely. I think, you should change them every now and then. You shouldn't become predictable.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Chris? Do you agree with that, or do you think it still should be a gentleman's, type of deal where you're trying not to steal?
Yeah,
but
it's just back to the magnitude and the money of today's game. It's just changed so much, like if this was 10 years ago before the NIL and all this extra stuff, I would be like, oh, sign stealing, it's not proper, but nowadays you've got to do whatever you can to get that edge to win, man. You're going to get fired or you're going to get transferred to another team, whatever. I'm not a fan of it, but I just think it's part of today's game.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but really whenever they started doing the difference, I always remember the way Cam Newton and them were at Auburn. And that was the earliest that I can remember a team that would get up to the line of scrimmage and they would fake or clap or something, and then they would stop and everybody would look over to the sideline. And then during that whole set, the offensive coaches, they're looking at what the defense is presenting because you're trying to get them in the position that the play that you're going to run is going to work the best. And then they'd wait up until like 5 seconds to call the play, and everybody would be on go on what number or whatever they were running. So that's when I remember it the most, as far as like, man, and I hated it. And even now, if you look at the high schoolers, they do it. They wait and they wait and they wait because they get the 35-second clock or the 40-second clock when they set the ball. And then you look over and you watch. And, you know, I'm still old school enough, and which it happened this past NFL game the other day. So the rule is that your center cannot, if he engages with the ball, he can't let the ball go anymore until he's hiking the ball. And so the other day, one of the NFL centers put his hand on the ball. It was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He put his hand on the ball. And when he put his hand on the ball, they went all back to the huddle, and he couldn't go to the huddle. So he had to turn around and look at the huddle. And so Aaron Rodgers was giving away the play, but he was having to say it loud enough so that the center could hear it. But yeah, I can't stand it. Maybe I'm so old that I needed to do, this or that. But when you look at the game way it is set up now, you've got all of these people on the sidelines, and they're trying to tell the defense what they're running. Yeah. Because the biggest thing is we're trying to figure out what play you're running so that we can get it done. So I don't know. I just don't love it. I think, they all stand up. And I'm like, if you put your hand on the ground and you move, that's a false start. So how can you, as an offensive guard, offensive tackle, put your hand in the ground and then come back up and look over to the sideline after you've already engaged with the dirt? That's the part that bothers me. And maybe I'm missing it. Maybe they're not engaging. Maybe they're just sitting there squatted and not touching it. And I know I'm going on a tangent, but we're about to go on a break either way. But I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just so old school that I don't love that part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's a minor, facet of the game to where it doesn't necessarily, that part doesn't bother me, too much. Really the hardcore, cheating and sign stealing, like I said, that's you're taking that way too far. If you're trying to sit there and study, you're not studying plays, and you're studying watching coaches call signs and stuff like that. That's a little too far, and I think that kind of crosses the line of integrity of the game.
There's no possible way, and y'all, I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, and you can say yes or no, and that's okay. We can disagree. There's no possible way that the way everything is now, that they're not studying the sideline people during their film study with all those coaches. 100%. They gotta be doing it.
I mean, I think Michigan solely won a championship off of doing it. So.
I mean, it worked.
It was that same year, so.
Yeah, I mean, so either way, to me, that's exactly what I think happened. So we'll leave it at that, because we could get in a big conundrum about all of that. But when we come back, we're going to talk to Chris Hopzilla about these Gators playing the Bulldogs. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text him now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Your home for the NFL. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Sunday, it's an NFL doubleheader.
Down the sideline.
Your 4-3 Jacksonville Jaguars land in Las Vegas and look for a winning hand versus the Raiders. Coverage starts at 2. Then Sunday Night Football with Seattle at Washington. Coverage at 6:30 right here on your home for the NFL on the Gulf Coast.
Pick 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Friday afternoon. The remainder of the day, sunshine and 67 with a light breeze at 7 miles per hour coming out of the west-northwest. For tonight, clear skies with a light breeze and a low near 52. Tomorrow, wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 70. For Sunday, some sun and a high of 69. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
We're proud to bring you the most popular cars in the world, like the stylish Camry and the sporty Corolla. Get award-winning style and 1.99% APR on a new Camry, named the best new model by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, you get 90 days until you make your first payment. Curb appeal comes standard on the new Corolla. Designed to wow from the inside out. Get 3.49% APR plus 90 days until your first payment. Panama City Toyota, your Camry and Corolla headquarters.
Offers end November 3rd. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX-LG. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Ball's loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join us for the Florida-Georgia game on Saturday, November 1st.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football.
Coverage starts Saturday at 2. Kickoff at 2:30. On your spot for the Florida Gators on the Gulf Coast. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. The sports world is a battlefield of opinions.
Auburn's got a serious problem.
And every day, Paul Wilson brings the heat, the fire, and the definitive take.
They are not finding ways to get him the football.
Don't just follow the headlines.
But they lost 2 road games, and these 2 teams are ranked number 5 and number 6.
Be a part of the story on the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
That's right. You hear the music, you know what that means. It is 5 o'clock, and we are pumped up right here. The Halloween edition of the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson on this Friday. The day of the weekend is upon us, and we're excited about it. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We've got referee Brandon in the house. We've got Bane, Hobzilla, and we've got Bone Crusher crushing the ones and the twos, and we've got the I don't know where I'm going, Lane Kiffin, here hosting the show. And on location, live in location, we've got Jeffrey on the phone. Jeffrey, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good.
You've been having some fun, have you? Been going and sightseeing a little bit and hanging out?
Yeah, everything was great up here. I went to go see a museum that was unbelievable.
Now, where are you, Jeff?
I'm in Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, all right, not too far, just right down the road.
So, yep. Jeffrey, I just saw before we came on the air that the tickets for the Florida State Wake Forest game has just dropped to $6. So you and the girlfriend could get in at $12 to watch a college football game over in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, man.
Hobzilla, you think you'd go to that game?
I mean, at $7 a ticket, maybe.
That's right. So we got to talk about it, Jeffrey. We're going to let Hobzilla take it away for just a second. So knowing that this new coach is going to be for his first game against the tough task of playing Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, man, this one, every year is marked on the calendar for you guys, for everybody. Everybody watches it. The largest outdoor cocktail party in the world happens there. And so what do you think? What's going on with the Florida Gators right now?
Well, I mean, I feel like we have a better chance than, some of the other years this year, which I know sounds a little crazy to some people, but they actually have like the 81st ranked, secondary in college football, so that kind of helps, Florida. We are out 2 very important wide receivers. Well, 1, VB3, Vernell Brown III. We're out him. He's the freshman phenom. And then Aiden Mizell, I don't know, what's going on with him, but he will not be playing either. So that I'm not looking forward to. We're a little thin at running back. It's Jacoby Jackson and Trayon Webb are both out. And I believe Clark is as well. So it doesn't sound great. We're, as far as the injuries, they're stacking up a lot higher than the other team. That's been, all year and ever since we've had Napier. And I know he's gone now, but, the injuries don't just disappear. But it's I have faith in the game. As always, I've touched base with some of DJ's camp and everything. And last time I did that, it was before the Texas game. And, they were like, oh, he really wants to win this game. It means a lot to him, And I don't know what the deal is with the competitive nature, why he don't get up for every game like this. But he's supposed to be very stoked about tomorrow. And I really feel like we're going to shock them, especially the first half with, running a lot of, because it's still Napier's playbook, and running a lot of plays that people have not seen, the more technical and difficult stuff, that Napier didn't want to run with DJ, that they're going to run. I have faith that we're, definitely in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not leading at halftime.
Wow. What do you think about that, Jeffrey? Do you agree with Hobzilla that there's a chance that the Florida Gators are going to be leading at halftime?
I've seen stranger things happen.
Okay. All right. So Jeffrey's probably on board. Real quick, I want to read some of our Facebook people. Let's go with Livia Livingston. She says, I'm a female over 65, love football. My team is Florida. Came across your show and watching for the first time. So good to have you on here, Livia. Otis Reed said, go Dogs. My gal is from Athens. And I've got to say that. And then Livia also said that's funny that FSU tickets are $6. She thinks they're overpriced. Oh, so there you go. So you got Gonzalez, the head coach, and obviously they talked about it this week on the presser. I got an opportunity to listen in, and he talked about something that was a little strange, but I understand where he was coming from. He said that he's still in his same office. He didn't move offices, that out of respect for Coach Napier, he didn't take over his office. That office is empty now, I would assume. And what does that speak to you as far as the man that's the interim coach?
I think he's a man of integrity. He's a really good, guy. A lot of Gator fans are wanting this to work out. They're like, man, I hope he run the table. And, Billy G's our coach next year. And he's never had a head coaching, job before. So, I look forward to it, but I don't see it, going on to a prolonged career for him, as a Gator coach. So,
what do you think about that? How did that make you feel when you heard that part? And then expound on what you think about this game.
So that tells me he's not confident he's going to keep his job. As far as he's not going to become the head coach. Move into the office, move out. Let's stay where I am. Let's finish the season, kind of see where things are going. We have, like Jeffrey said, we've seen, weird things happen. I believe, I don't think the athletes have changed. Florida's always had the athletes. We've seen it. They've got the recruits. They've got the players. I watched the Florida Gator podcast a couple weeks ago just because I try to get it from all sides, and they're just like, that week that y'all beat Texas, they said, this is the number one reason why we need to fire Napier. We can beat anybody that we want. We've got the athletes. We just play inconsistent. And I think the head coach has a lot to do with the way players wake up and come prepared to play. I think DJ's an athlete. We've seen that last year. We've seen spurts of it this year. Taking care of the ball. 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. he can do great things. You see that. It just seems that the game either one gets away from him or he gets a little careless. If Gonzalez can keep his head in the game, he can wake him up motivated, wakes the whole team up motivated. I mean, I wouldn't be totally shocked to see y'all pull this upset. The way I've seen y'all play in spurts, y'all play really well. And in the state of Florida anyway, it's going to be more of a home game for you guys than them being in Florida. I would like to think y'all would have a couple more fans there. I'm hoping for a good game. I wouldn't be shocked to see them leading early. We led Georgia early in the game. They're just persistent. They do not give up. You have to, step on their throat, and they're just a team that don't die. So, if y'all are going to stand a chance, y'all got to get up and stay up there.
Right, and Kirby, to me, is like the king of overtime and the king of, halftime adjustments and things like that. So that's why I figure that, maybe you're up 14, 10, something like that at halftime, and then, here comes the Bulldogs.
Yeah, we were up 14. I was feeling good until I wasn't. So, I totally get that.
Well, and the thing about Kirby's team this year that's different than the Kirbys of last or the past is that the fact that the quarterback position, even though he's effective, he doesn't wow you with his athleticism. He doesn't wow you with his arm. And so, but they do win. Yeah. And that's the kicker. I mean, and no matter how you get it done, as long as you get it done, I guess that's the answer. But, again, we talk about the parity across college football, and we talk about how that this NIL era that we live in has changed the way the landscape is, whereas you don't have 5 stars every single opportunity of every player, and so they're everywhere else now. So do you think Florida really matches up though with Georgia this year?
The whole time you were talking, I'm just sitting here in my head thinking like, hey, we've got the defensive line to do it. We have a couple 5 stars that have been injured all season that will not be playing, basically. But I really think that we're going to match up really well with them on, our defensive line and everything. Normally, that wasn't the case when we would play. Because if you've noticed, when Florida locks on defense this season, they have really showed out, So as long as DJ plays well, don't throw it to the other team and things like that, I feel like we've got a definite good chance,
Yeah, and with, I think, having a good chance, for me, I'm just, obviously you've got a coach that has coached a lot of football in Gonzalez. Not head coaching, though. That's the difference. And, I think that with Kirby, like you said, he'll probably have to figure it out, because I'm sure that Gonzalez isn't going to run the same stuff that Napier's running. And that regard, I think that'll be kind of a figuring out type of deal, because these guys are smart. They all know what they're doing. There's not just somebody has the key. I mean, as much as Coach Saban was the greatest at it, if you look at all of the coordinators that he had under him, with him at the times that he was at Alabama and even at LSU, those guys can coach football, and they're all scattered out amongst college football, and they're everywhere, and they share notes with each other, and they know what's going at, what they're doing when they do this or that. So do you think that this is like a matchup with the quarterbacks, or are you saying that Florida's defense is going to have to play like the first part of the season Florida defense, how they were kind of elite?
And like after they got after Texas, Texas has got a decent-sized offensive line and talent all over the field, and that score is very deceiving. Florida manhandled, Texas, honestly, and I really think that this game with Georgia has that kind of feel to it. Like, I have hope, and normally, say, before the Texas A&M game, I was like, oh, God, we got to play them, I feel like they're a playoff contending team, and I really do feel like Georgia could go on a championship run, but I just think it's been too long, man. Florida's got their number this year. It's going to be a really good game if Florida doesn't pull off the upset.
Does everybody that you see online are they saying that this is going to be the weekend that it happens? I mean,
it's been a lot more people, so than the other years. Everybody else like, oh God, give it up. We're not beating Georgia. But there has been a lot of people that are looking forward to seeing what Billy G can do with the not dumbed down playbook, because that's supposed to be the difference. Is that Billy Napier kind of just gave you the same 4 to 6 plays every time, and this guy's going to throw the kitchen sink at you.
Now, do you think that you as Florida fans feel better about this game because there's honestly nothing to lose? Like, there's really nothing on the line. You can come out there, play free. You've already let go of your head coach. You've done this. And, like we've seen that in UCLA when they beat Penn State with their interim head coach. I mean, different play calls, different motivation. I mean, if, Gonzalez figures out how to get these guys to play, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, to see this game go a little closer than everybody's anticipating.
Yeah. And no, I do agree with that. I think, just the team, it's going to be refreshing to not go in with Billy Napier, because that you could tell DJ's been frustrated with Napier, and I think they all were, even the coaches that are interim coaches. They might have respect for him, but they thought it was getting a little crazy. I still feel like he might have coached for the buyout.
Yeah, I mean, just how many weeks did they talk about Billy Napier losing his job?
Yeah, from the beginning of the season.
I mean, these kids hear this.
Yeah, they know.
I mean, you got to think that DJ Lagway's probably thinking, if I don't play well, is coach going to get fired next week? If I throw 3 interceptions and we lose by,
and it started last season.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, and if it wasn't for him winning those, the last 5 games of the year, I believe Napier would have been out the door a whole lot sooner.
Yeah.
So I do believe that the having the coach and waiting to be fired prior to the last week, that puts a lot of pressure on those kids. That's something they're constantly thinking about. Something they're probably talking in the locker room. It's something that probably weighs on their mind. Now that it's over, who knows? I don't know if it's more distracting or less distracting, because now I think their portal window's open. Are they leaving? Are they staying? Hey, are you staying? Are you leaving? Where are you going? So I don't know, which direction that could go. I could see it being, freelance, good, they'll play free, or does it bring even more stress to the program?
Yeah. Jeffrey, when you look at this game, do you think that there's a chance, like maybe a 1% chance, that if this Billy G, as Hobzilla just called him, wins out at Florida, that he possibly could play in for himself to have a head coaching football job over there at Florida?
Wow. I think that's a lot less probability than some other teams that have interim coaches. I don't think that's. I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm trying to think of who else. They play Tennessee, right? By the way,
they play. Okay, obviously they have Georgia this weekend. Following week they have Kentucky, and then they have Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State.
Yeah, and the Kentucky and Ole Miss are on the road, and then the Tennessee's at home.
Yes, Tennessee and Florida State would be.
Oh no, there's no way they're going to win. There's no way they're going to beat Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee.
That's not the question, though. If they do win out, does he keep that job? Or does Florida make a hire before the end of the season so they don't miss out on this coaching carousel? Or are they going to wait to the end of the season when Lane Kiffin frees up and see what maybe Billy G does to the team?
I mean, it's not so much just about the coach that's in there right now, the interim coach. It's more so about who makes a hire first. Because as soon as there's 1 or 2 of them, the seat for picking is going to get really, really hot, and they're going to have to move quick. And I think it's crazy to even think that people are talking about Brian Kelly going other places, but I don't know. It's definitely not. Brian Kelly's definitely not going to Florida. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that I believe people are just throwing out to see if they can get it stick. But I don't think so either.
Yeah, but no, if he beats Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Georgia, heck yeah, give that guy the job. Go ahead and give it to him.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's what they did with Billy G. I mean, Billy Napier. Billy Napier did the same thing. And then Florida fans, and you can call in on the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290, and tell us what you think. But, I mean, do you want another coach named Billy? I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to be like this or that, but, let's get away from the name.
Come on.
I don't
Do you
want
know
to
how many
do
coaches y'all hired? How many Alabama coaches had the same name?
Exactly. And all of them stunk, and we learned our lesson. We're never going to ever hire another Mike in the history of Alabama coaches. I don't care if somehow there's a Mike Saban that's killing the college football ranks. I'm sorry, sir. We can't have you. We love your last name. Your first name done it for us. Show him the door, please.
Norvell claims he had that job locked up.
And he was Mike.
You wouldn't take Mike Tomlin as your coach?
I would not. Ooh. I would not take anybody named Mike. And I got friends that are named Mike, and I'm sure there's some really nice people out there named Mike, but I just don't want you coaching my Alabama Crimson Tide team. So either way, we get to do these things because of our wonderful sponsors. And AutoNation Ford in Panama City is one of those. If your vehicle needs service or anything done, if you need parts, if you need an oil change, just something simple, go see those guys at AutoNation Ford in Panama City, 730 West 15th Street, right there past the what is it called? The railroad tracks. I just had a
railroad tracks.
Right by the railroad tracks. They're on the good side of the railroad tracks. So there you go. Now we also have a sponsor in-house with us. He's known as Referee Brandon today, but normally he's known as Collision Brandon. So Brandon, tell us about what you have going on.
Yeah, so my name is Brandon Strickland, and my father and I, Randy Strickland, own Recommended Collision in Panama City, Florida. Family-owned business. Man, we take pride in customer service, quality of work. We do a bunch of paint and body work, man. It's something as small as a small scratch or a plastic piece that may be faded on your vehicle, or whether somebody hit you and you're proceeding through their insurance. You bring me the claim, bring me some information, come see me, let me take care of you. We've got immediate drop-offs, quick turnarounds, and come in and mention this radio show, and I'll definitely throw something in there for you, whether it be a small discount, whether it be some free diagnostic scans. We give free estimates. Come by Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Come ask for Brandon or Jake, and we'll take good care of you.
Yeah, they do a great job over there, professional. And you know what? There's not a shade tree out there, so they're not shade tree mechanics or shade tree body shop workers. So either way. And also, don't forget, the microphone this week has been sponsored by KML Hauling, fast, local, and reliable junk removal service, dumpster rentals as well, 850-247-5074. They will take care of it. If you got something going on at your house and you need a dumpster there so that you can throw all the trash in there so you don't have to make several runs to the dump, call those guys. I'll give you the number one more time, 850-247-5074. They are fast, reliable, dependable. They'll come to your residence, give you an estimate. If you need to land clearing, any of that stuff, you got some old stubborn trees that need to be removed or bushes, any of those things, come see those guys. KML Hauling, 850-247-5074. Go see those guys. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this Florida-Georgia game, but we're also going to talk some more about the coaching carousel. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone service.
The Red 70s studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. Have you ever wanted to reach out and smack someone?
You can't fix stupid, but you can divorce it.
The new Sports Blitz. Rants, hot takes, and huge reactions are incoming.
And on behalf of 70% of the Alabama fan base,
feel the burn.
We want a damn divorce.
The Red 70s studio line.
You cannot give LSU extra opportunities.
850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida.
He has not turned the ball over.
Get in the game.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Clear tonight with a light breeze around 6 miles per hour coming out of the north-northeast and temps near 50. Tomorrow morning we will have sunshine and a wind speed of 7 miles per hour and be cool at 64. Sunny in the afternoon and evening at a high 71 with a light breeze. Some sun Sunday with a temp of 69. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
We're proud to bring you the most popular cars in the world, like the stylish Camry and the sporty Corolla. Get award-winning style and 1.99% APR on a new Camry, named the best new model by Kelly Blue Book. Plus, you get 90 days until you make your first payment. Curb appeal comes standard on the new Corolla. Designed to wow from the inside out. Get 3.49% APR plus 90 days until your first payment. Panama City Toyota, your Camry and Corolla headquarters.
Offers end November 3rd. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Ball's loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. Your favorite team is garbage.
Dallas? I don't want you going to Dallas at all.
And we're here to explain why.
That place is crawling with crackheads and debutantes, and half of them play for the Cowboys.
It's time to take out the trash on the Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN West Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida on this special Halloween edition of the Sports Blitz. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Joined in by referee Brandon, Bain, Hobzilla, Bone Crusher, Jeffrey's on the phone, and we are going to the Red 7T's phone line now to talk to Nick. How you doing, Nick? Hey, Nick, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
We're doing fantastic, Nick. What's going on, man? You want to talk about this Billy G that we got going on here?
Absolutely, especially as a Gator alumni, I definitely want to chime in. I'm just going to tell you straight up, straight out the gate. We have had enough of the McElwains, the Muschamps, the Mullins, and the Billies, so I want royalty on this. On with the Billies and bring on the GOAT, Lane Kiffin.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you what, if everybody listens to this show, they know that I am 100% that Lane Kiffin is going to be a Florida Gator. I just, whenever it came about, that's my personal opinion. Other people have said other things. People told me I'm crazy, but I think Lane's going to Florida for sure.
Absolutely. The whole issue over at LSU with the governor getting involved with all that, that pretty much killed that whole concept. Not that it ever was, but and then the Gonzalez issue with him winning out for the rest of the year. Billy did it. That was a mistake then. It'll be a mistake again. I think the only way that concept or conversation should ever be entertained is the fact that Kiffin, for whatever reason, opts not to come to Florida.
Yeah, and that would just be, just part of the game. Yeah, and that's where I feel like, as well as Chris, you just got to take the next best guy and you just got to move on. But if it's not Kiffin, who would you like to see Florida target?
Oh, man, I honestly, I hate to feel this way or say this, man, but, I've tried not to take my sights off of that, not to jinx it in a sense. There's really just, there's going to be more out there, and I know I feel like I'm trying to dance around the question just because I don't feel like the coach that's possibly the next one if Kiffin doesn't take the offer is on the market yet. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think he's out there.
Yeah, that's something else too.
Who you are. Yeah, I don't care who you are. SEC football is just a completely different, just my opinion, just because I'm an SEC guy. The SEC football environment is a whole nother level. I heard you guys saying it, the Florida job was just too big of a job for Billy. Great guy, got to love, his position on things off the field, but that doesn't cut the mustard, man. We want, I tell everybody, if you want to know what the standard is at Florida, all you have to do is take a few moments and stand in front of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and there's 3 statues standing there.
That is true. Very, very true. Well, Nick, we sure do appreciate the call, my man. And do you think the Gators are going to pull off the upset this weekend?
The environment obviously kind of split. I think there's a lot of energy possibly around the idea that, the playbook that has been being called from may not be necessarily the one that's going to be called from on Saturday. I think there's a chance that we stay in the game, Again, I think Kirby, just being Kirby, he has a way at halftime to kind of dissect everything that happened in the first half. And then, of course, they kind of tend to come out the second half. And then, of course, we all know momentum has a great deal of play in the game itself. So I want to hold true to my orange and blue that we will win. We'll pull off the upset. We really kind of do not have anything to lose at this point. But, so I'm going to hang my hat on we're going to pull off the upset.
Awesome, Nick. Well, before you go, we're gonna jump off here. But what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh man, I got to go with some Skittles. I think, man. I don't know why. I can just throw down on some Skittles.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, Nick, thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate it, buddy, and I hope you're right. I hope the Gators play really good this weekend. Appreciate the call, Nick.
Man, go Gators.
Go Gators.
A name that I really hadn't heard too much about would be Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is very notable in that area. He actually lives in Sarasota. And works for Fox.
Disappointing story on that.
Yeah, he's got it. So go ahead and break it with us.
Go ahead.
Just today, I was, me and Paul, we've been talking about how, Urban was a possibility because that was what I was originally told, that we were just waiting on Urban to say no. And then this morning, SEC Mike, he broke that, Urban was looking to get back into coaching. And then I made a few posts, and then maybe 15, 20 minutes goes by, and Urban comes out in an interview today saying that he has no desire to coach anymore. So, but that is interesting. He shut that down super fast, and Lane has not, there should be shutting that down, and where there's smoke, I think you're right. I think it's Lane.
Yeah, when he said there was nobody to, second to Lane Kiffin, I'm thinking about, well, what? I was just thinking about some previous Florida coaches, and I was like, what's he up to? I looked, and he's just, analyzing.
Yeah, he does.
Fox, kind of like, and Nick's doing right now.
He don't want to coach Penn State. He don't want to coach Florida. He says no desire.
I think if he did, like I said, he lives in Sarasota. If he did coach again, it probably would be Florida. He didn't really pan out in the Big Ten at Ohio State, so I don't think he would want to go to Penn State. I do think if he come back, it would be to, renew, that Florida relationship. But yeah, when he said that was the name that come to my head. So it was funny that you have that story right there.
Yeah, it's a good call on that.
So there's a post out today that said that the Washington head coach, Jeff Fish, is a possibility. And so I think, Jeffrey, did you make that statement maybe this week or last week about the Washington coach possibly being a candidate for that job? Because you talked about Kalen DeBoer coming in to Alabama.
No. The Washington coach hasn't been there long enough. This is his second year over there.
So it wasn't. Okay, so I'd heard somebody said it, but I was thinking it was Jeff. What do you think about him? Do you think that's if something like that happens? Because I do think Florida probably has all of their eggs in this Lane Kiffin basket. Lane's a different guy. Lane can be, he plays online a lot. He messes with people. He's one of those coaches that, he gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I think he's playing with this a little bit. I think he loves it, but I think also with Lane, he's trying to win and get into the college football playoff. Obviously, he's a winner, wants to be a winner, wants to win that, and then see what he can do with Ole Miss. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, I really feel like that's, he's going to, give it a run this season. It seems like, it looks like Florida's, has no choice but to be okay with it, you know. So I feel like once they get into the first round or second round, you know, he might just walk away from it. You know, he just wanted to see how far he could get with this Ole Miss team.
Now, are you rooting against him at this current point?
Yes.
Because you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going.
Why do you want a coach that loses?
Exactly. Well, loses, or if you can win at Ole Miss, why? If you can win at Ole Miss, why do you want to go to Florida?
Well, that's the thing is,
I mean, if you can make the playoffs and he makes a run, and
how long has he been at Ole Miss though now?
I think 3 or 4
years. I feel like he's been there longer.
Let me look.
I feel like he's been there at least 4 to 5.
Yeah.
But let me tell you the difference, Brandon. You may tell you what the difference is from Ole Miss to Florida, in the tune of about $70 million for the players.
And their stadium, they're having trouble packing that out. Like Kiffin and the fans are begging people every week, like just begging, rattling the can.
What happens when they come out with the salary cap and every school has to spend the same? So then it doesn't matter what school you're at. It doesn't matter how much money's donated.
Well, I'm just saying they can't fill the stands of 60,000 people, and you know he's a big time coach. He that kind of has to hurt his ego.
Well, we've got an insider as far as for the Ole Miss game experience. Jeffrey, tell us the game experience at Ole Miss.
Wait, you're breaking up a little bit. I heard Ole Miss experience.
yeah, give us. They're talking about the atmospheres from Florida to playing over at Ole Miss. Give us. I know you're an insider for the Ole Miss Rebels. Give us your take on the Ole Miss game experience.
Florida Gators over Oxford any day, not just for how many people you have in the stands, but the whole fan experience. I've been to the Swamp for Florida, Tennessee. I think it was, 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. And then I was there at Oxford twice. Once was for a non-conference game, and once was for a night game against LSU. The Swamp is so much better than Oxford. It's not even funny.
Well, I mean, atmosphere-wise, okay? So, I mean, as a coach, you don't go to atmosphere. You go to win games, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're winning in Ole Miss and they're paying you relatively the same, so how much more is Florida going to pay you? So he's making $9 million a year at Ole Miss. He's got an 8-year contract. How much more? I mean, that's what Heupel making. So you're getting $4 million more a year. You know, with you see the immense pressure in what Florida requires you to win.
Yep.
You could have a mediocre season at Ole Miss. They're going to pat you on the back and say, all right, let's go get them next year, coach. Good job. Yep. Like the immense amount of pressure. I mean, he's coached at Tennessee. He's seen with that fan base. I'd say the Florida fan base is relatively the same passion that maybe a Tennessee fan base is. So he's going to be catching a lot of flack. There's going to be no room for error. He is expected to come in and be the saving grace. You're expected a 10-win season first year. Lane Kiffin comes in there. Goes to USC, expects the same. Leaves again, non-successful there. So I mean, you're getting a mercenary. I mean, is he going to pan out? I don't know. Look at his track record. I mean, it's not necessarily worked out. And yes, he's been
the maturity
for 5 years.
Yeah. So is it 5? Okay. 5. So 5 years, the maturation of going through with Nick Saban, understanding how to run a football program, doing those things. Because we that part of his history is really sour, and obviously Brandon has that sourness with it. But when you look at him now, I talk about this as far as these guys, the ones with the high ego, where they have to be in that environment. They want that. They gravitate towards that. They want that expectation. They want the mantle of put up or shut up. And I believe that at Ole Miss, you're right. He could just ride into the sunset. He could possibly make the playoff one year, not make the playoff the next year, and everybody still gives him his car from the local dealership, and he still eats free at all the restaurants. But Lane Kiffin is a high ego guy, and he wants all of the pressure. He wants all the smoke. And I'm not sure if Ole Miss fits Lane Kiffin, the person, better than Florida does with his personality and his the desire to be legendary and win.
No, I totally get that, and I understand there's a slight different level. But man, you win at Ole Miss, you're a legend for life. You win one at Florida, and you're just up there with the other guys.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to
want a statue.
If you're wanting a statue, win a couple playoff games, win a national championship at Ole Miss, do something that nobody else has done. Be one of these smaller schools that are not one of these schools that have won one in the last, like an Alabama, an Ohio State, a Michigan, a Georgia. Like, be somebody different. Win somewhere where nobody's won before. You'll be a legend forever.
Jeffrey, do you think that Lane Kiffin, at his current state, with the current state of football in the country, like it is with the NIL and the portal, do you think, realistically, within 2 to 3 years, Lane Kiffin can win a national title at Ole Miss?
Yes.
See, I totally 100% disagree with you. And the reason is because I don't think he lucked out getting Trinidad Chambliss. He lucked out at getting him because Austin Simmons wasn't the guy. I mean, he looked really, I know he checked all the boxes, but he wasn't the guy. And Trinidad Chambliss proved that he wasn't the guy, because if he'd have been the guy when Trinidad Chambliss came in and did what he did, Simmons would have came right back in and been the starting quarterback, but he wasn't. So he struck it rich. He had lightning in the bottle with Trinidad Chambliss. But how many years is he going to be? What happens if he turns out to be, he gets a Mike Norvell opportunity at quarterback? What's he gets a DJ Lagway or a Tommy Castellanos that looks good but not good enough? And I just don't see how you think he could win more national championships or in the next 3 to 4 years before if he were to go to Florida and win a national championship?
Same timetable. It would take 3 years at Florida for him to build it at Florida to win it all.
I feel like he's closer at Ole Miss than he would be if he is starting over at Florida.
I don't. I think he has way more talent at Florida than he does at Ole Miss day one. And then he turns the recruiting of Florida as the state on top of its head, and then he will still have his reach in Ole Miss to be able to get those players out of Mississippi, Louisiana, and even dive down into Texas some.
Did you see what Ed O said?
Mm-mm.
He basically said that he should go to Florida because Ed O knows that it works out to be like you're saying, and that he could jump in his Suburban and go grab a few All-Americans out of Jacksonville and, call it a day and win a championship there. That's what, Kiffin could do. So,
what do you think about that, Jeffrey?
You know what the Gators have to do every year? They have to play Kirby Smart. Ole Miss has to do it every other year.
Yeah, and you also have to compete with Miami and Florida State for in-house talent. I mean, an Ole Miss, I'm sure you're getting pick of the crop over Miss State, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but we had a guest on the other day, and he was talking about that it used to be that way, but now that the NIL and the way everything's working now, there's so much more reach from the other colleges that it's not the biggest thing anymore to play for your home state anymore, that all of these colleges are coming in with the money, coming in with these deals, being able to pay, just the other day, I'll give you a great example. My brother went to St. Paul's High School in Mobile, Alabama, and it's A.J. McCarron went there, some other NFL players went there, and the other day, Dan Lanning showed up from Oregon to Mobile, Alabama, to see a guy there that had committed to Alabama, and he decommitted from Alabama and switched to Oregon the next day. And so used to be, if you were in Alabama, before Dabo Swinney, started taking a couple of the recruits, it was Alabama or Auburn. Now you got Oregon coming down in your own backyard and taking 5 stars out of your backyard, and that's everywhere.
Yeah.
So we've got, obviously I'm not, disagreeing with you about running your state, because you still can, and probably Ole Miss probably does, but the old school way of running your state looks totally different now with NIL money and these coaches being able to come in, and you can say what you want, but a name like Lanning, a name like Kirby, and a name like Kiffin, they come to your school, those boys want to play for those kind of guys.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And that just kind of, with you saying that kind of, proves a small point of mine is, why has he got to go to Florida? He's Lane Kiffin. If he wants recruits, just go down to Georgia or where Louisiana and say, hey, you want to come play for me? If you want to come play with me at Florida, why don't you want to come play for me at Ole Miss?
Well, that's where the $70 million comes in for now, because we have to do that. But anyway, if you could, before we take a break, could you read something from Hard Rock for us, Brandon?
Yeah, who's taking the baseball crown? Bet on every pitch, swing, and big moment of the championship series on Hard Rock. So whether you're trying to bet on the Dodgers or whether you're trying to bet on the Blue Jays, the game is tonight, 7 p.m. Fox. These Hard Rock bets are offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 years or older and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
That's right. And also, don't forget, we've been announcing it. Win 30 days of free gym membership to Anytime Fitness right here from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can do that. So what we're going to do is we're giving away an Anytime Fitness free membership right now. So if you want a free membership right now, you can comment on our Facebook page. You can text the 850-215-6290, or you can call in as well and claim your free Anytime Fitness right there in the Coronado Shopping Center on 23rd Street. We were going to get Jeffrey to go work out for 30 days, and we were going to get all of his measurements and to see whether or not he grew any and toned up any. But Jeffrey, he's always out of town and stuff, so he's missing the workout days. And so anyway, if you want the free membership to Anytime Fitness, you can text in, call in, or mention it on the Facebook page, and we will get with you. We'll take caller number 2, 4, and 6 today. If you want to call, that's fine. Or if you text, we'll get you going right there. But when we come back, we've got some pick'ems to do, and we're excited about it because there's probably some upsets. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Your home for the NFL. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Sunday, it's an NFL doubleheader.
Down the sideline.
Your 4-3 Jacksonville Jaguars land in Las Vegas and look for a winning hand versus the Raiders. Coverage starts at 2. Then Sunday Night Football with Seattle at Washington. Coverage at 6:30 right here on your home for the NFL on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
No one wants to deal with a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. It's even worse when you're not sure what it'll cost, when it'll get fixed, or if someone's just selling you something. When you call Hiller, you can trust our experts to actually solve your home's problems quickly. And with true transparency pricing, you know the price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. Book online now at happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Falls loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join us for the Florida-Georgia game on Saturday, November 1st.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 with 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football.
Coverage starts Saturday at 2. Kickoff at 2:30. On your spot for the Florida Gators on the Gulf Coast. It's 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you build it, they will come. Live from the CBC Construction Studios. This is the Sports Blitz, where we don't have guests. We have punching bags. The Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Don't forget, Georgia, Florida, right here. Kickoffs at 2:30 tomorrow, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are going to go to the Red 7T's phone line. We've got Kyle on the phone from Interlocking, Florida. Kyle, what you got going on today, my friend?
So, I've been going back and forth with a few friends of mine. Some are not Gator fans, some are. But I feel for the best coaching hire, I think Lane Kiffin would be the perfect fit, especially for the talent that we have on our team, including commits in the 2026 class. So my question is, do you guys think we would be better off with Lane Kiffin or with Eli Drinkowitz? Because I have friends telling me that they think Eli would be a better fit. I just don't agree with them.
See, that's the key. You got these coaches, and I've got a easy scenario for you. To me, Florida, to me, other people say no, Jeff being one of them, is a top 10 job. Eli Drinkowitz has done a great job with what he's got. He's done a very serviceable job with Missouri. He's definitely a great offensive mind. He does good with the talent that he has. He's never had a team where he is able to have the talent that Florida's going to be able to present. And so my concern with someone like him is that he's always been an overachiever with the lower level players. Can he coach big time players? We know that Kiffin is a big-time coach because he's taken Ole Miss, some of the lower players, but he's also been on the staff of the Alabama Crimson Tide team and won. He also, even though Brandon knows that he struggled at Tennessee, he did have top-level talent there, and he almost upset Alabama the year that they won the title, which Brandon's throwing up right now in his mouth. But you have to understand those two styles of coaching, and I think if you go with Eli, you're going to be in a Dan Mullen, maybe even, I don't even think he'll do as bad as Billy, but I think a Dan Mullen is about what you'll get. You'll get a good team that'll have good offensive plays, but I'm not so sure kids are going to get pumped up and excited in Florida to come play for Eli Drinkowitz as much as they will Lane Kiffin.
Right, and I completely agree with that. I keep seeing things where kids say they would love to play for Lane Kiffin at Florida. I personally think Florida is, Lane Kiffin is the best fit for the job. Yeah. My question, one more question too, by the way. Lane Kiffin, I personally believe, because I'm a huge college football fan, not just Gators, I love college football. I think that Lane Kiffin has achieved the level of greatness that he's going to be able to achieve at Ole Miss. I do not think he's going to be able to win a national championship at Ole Miss. I just don't think the resources are there, the level of talent as far as recruiting goes. Now, he's a great portal guy. I get that. But you can only go so far with portal players. So do you think he would be able to win a championship at Ole Miss, or do you think it would be better fit for him to come to Florida and win a national championship?
I do personally believe that it's Florida. I think Ole Miss, he is, like you said, I think he's tapped out. Brandon thinks that there's a possibility of him winning a national championship. Jeff thinks he can win a national championship as well. And Chris?
I'm assuming he's probably pulling up the recruiting for Ole Miss right now, and they are behind Florida with our terrible record, so it's something to think about,
I was looking at his tenures over the last 4 schools and his record, 7-6 at Tennessee gross. He spent 3 years at USC, got a little better, 28-15. Kind of revamped his coaching career, I believe, at Florida Atlantic. Built his reputation a little back up. And his longest tenure in the last, since 2009, has been at Ole Miss, and his record is 51-19. I don't think, he's won some games. He's 112-52, but he's got a 5-4 bowl game record. I don't think this guy has I don't know and see where he has been named and labeled the GOAT. I mean, he's won some football games. What has this guy won? He's not won a national championship. True. He's 5-4 in bowl games. He's not taken anybody to the playoffs. I don't even know any super notable players he has sent to the NFL who have blown up. I mean, what has Lane Kiffin specifically done for him to be the #1 coaching hire in the country?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and Kyle, we appreciate your call, man. We're going to have to go. But thank you so much. We appreciate you calling in. But that's really the deal. I mean, that's the gamble you take when you take these guys. Nick Saban won a national championship at LSU, but looked absolutely horrible with Miami, and the first year that he was there, horrible. Lost to Louisiana Monroe, Alabama. There you go. So either way, we're going to do our pick'ems. And Brandon, if you can go ahead and get that pulled up. Jeffrey, we're going to do a little bit of Spitfire go on these games. So Brandon, go ahead and give us them out.
All right, Jeff, we have Miami at SMU. Who you got here?
Miami.
Yeah, I'm going Miami as well. Chris, who you got? Miami?
Okay,
all right.
Perfect there. All right, so I feel like we all were going to have Miami there. Now, the next one we got South Carolina at Ole Miss. Now, Jeff?
Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm going Ole Miss as well.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I want South Carolina on that game.
South Carolina on that game. Okay, perfect. All right, going a little quickly here. Oklahoma at Tennessee. Jeff, what you got here?
Oh, Rocky Top.
Yep.
Oh, man.
I love to hear it.
Yeah, give me Tennessee as well. I think Oklahoma, their flash in the pan is over.
Tennessee by 10.
By 10, I will take Tennessee and for them to cover as well. The toughest game of the slate that you picked, Jeff, I personally think it was this one. I know where I'm leaning now. We have Navy versus North Texas. Where are you at?
Navy.
All right. Paul.
I'm going Navy as well. I think Navy's going to beat them. I think they're going to be able to run the football.
Navy.
I'm going to go North Texas. After that story you told me of that kid,
yes.
I feel like I have to personally root for him. So I'm going to ride with North Texas on this one. The kid's got the second most passing yards in the country.
Yep.
And for him to have no high school starts and to start rolling with them.
Yep.
Cincy at Utah. Jeff?
Utah.
I'm going Cincinnati. I'm going to think that they're going to continue the winning.
You had Utah, you had Cincy. All right, I'm actually going Cincinnati as well. I believe they're the better team. They're not favored. I believe they've had some pretty similar competition. I just somehow believe Cincy goes in there.
Cincinnati, yeah.
All right.
Now we have Vandy at Texas. Jeff?
I'm going to go Vandy.
I didn't think you were going to be able to pick Texas there. I'm also going to go Vanderbilt. They have not let me down. Y'all both looked at me like I was crazy the other week when I picked them, and they won. So I'm going to keep riding Vandy until they prove me wrong.
Yeah, give me Vandy. No way they're going to go lose to Texas. I don't feel like Texas has got it.
Give me Clark Lee and Vandy.
Okay, let's go there. All right, big game. Cocktail
Georgia.
Bowl. Hey, there we go. Yeah, I've got Georgia. As well. I do think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to ride with Georgia.
I'm going to go Georgia as well. I think Georgia will just be able to handle the business. All right, Chris.
Florida, give me the Gators.
Yeah, I think a little different of you if you didn't ride with them, but you gotta hope and you gotta wish there. We have Mississippi State at Arkansas. Me personally, was looking at some similar competition. I think Arkansas is going to pull up this win, and especially at home, I think they have a little bit of advantage. Jeff?
Arkansas.
Yep.
You know what? I've done it before, and I've lost with Mississippi State, but for whatever reason, I think Mississippi State's finally going to get in the win column with one of these crazy games. Give me Mississippi State. Jeff Levy, they're going to do something different this weekend.
It's Mississippi State. They've been so close to winning the last two games.
Yeah, they're a tough opponent. We had to play them, but I think Arkansas is grabbing this one. All right, we have Duke at Clemson. Jeff? Clemson.
Yeah, give me Clemson. I think they're going to find the win column against those Dukies.
Clemson.
I'm actually going with Duke on this one. Just one of those feelings, and I just don't think Clemson is what they are. You've been talking trash about Clemson all year. I'm really surprised you're riding with them, Paul.
Yeah, I just did.
Next one, last one. Wake Forest at FSU. Jeff?
FSU.
FSU, Paul?
FSU.
I'm going FSU as well.
$6 tickets, Wake Forest.
Oh, yeah. Guys, we've had a wonderful weekend. Be careful. It's Halloween weekend. Turn the lights on. Be careful. Watch the kids. You've been listening to Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
The brutal hits. The heartbreaking turnovers. The heroic comebacks.
In for the touchdown.
104.3 ESPN